blood pumping, get your lymphatic system moving around. All of these things play a role in stuff like blood clots and your body being able to process certain things. Like, you got to understand, and any of y'all that went to school to be a nurse or a CNA, you'll understand there are certain processes that cells go through to repair themselves. There are certain things that your body has to do on the inside to digest the foods that you eat. A lot of it has to do with movement and eating the right shit. I tell people all the time, and I've said this on my lives, for example, if you are someone that you eat a lot of red meat or foods that if you look it up, it will simply explain on Google that it is harder for your body, or your body has to work harder to break this down to be able to use what it needs and shit out and waste whatever it doesn't need. So there are foods that create what's called digestive enzymes to help your stomach and your large and small intestines break down foods that are tougher to break down. So if you know, hey, I eat a lot of tough meat and things like that, if you eat more fruits and items that have or helps your body create digestive enzymes, you can help actually, get your body to maneuver through digesting these foods based on what you're taking it through, what you're putting in your body. And we're going to talk about this stuff. Anybody else want to share what they know about their family history as far as health?
I can go. So both of my grandparents, they had diabetes and cancer. And of course, like growing up, I thought it was hereditary, but a few years ago, I learned that, like you mentioned, it's the diet. And we also just had a habit of, they would cook a lot, but then we would also do the convenience. So like going around the drive-thru. So in your lives, when you be talking about bitches who go around the drive-thru, that's me, because convenience. And it's like, I know better, but I'm not doing better just out of habit.
Yep, 100%. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. As we go through this information, most of what you're going to face as the tough part about this is the shit I'm used to. That is why it's important to sit down and first evaluate, where do I get some of my ways from when it comes to food? When it comes to preparing food, when it comes to my choice in food. Some of us, we adults, and we've never actually looked at the label, like really looked at the ingredient labels on the items that we're grocery shopping for. So you eating stuff and you really don't know what's in it, let alone know what the stuff does that's in it. Anybody else want to share what they know about their family history?
I'll share. Okay, I come from a family where I don't even think they know what they ate or what they were giving us to eat. Because my aunt I didn't realize this until my aunt had a party. And she was like, do anybody want to try this trout? So the friend she had over, he was like, that's not trout, that's cow tongue. And in my head, I was like, oh my God, I was eating that when I was little. I was actually eating cow tongue, and they were all laughing. And in my head, I was like, if I ate cow tongue, I could have ate a rat. I could have ate that stuff they said it was liver. That's probably wasn't liver, because I don't know what it was. But everyone thought it was funny, but I was embarrassed, because now I'm thinking back like, oh my God, what else did I eat that I didn't know what it was?
Yep.
So and I don't know what's in my body.
But it's so relevant that you're saying that, because especially for Black and urban people, a lot of our diet, the way that we prepare our foods, the food choices, it goes all the way back to slavery. We only were given certain foods to eat, and you got to know they wasn't giving us the best parts. They butcher a cow or a pig, they're going to take the finest cuts of the meat or what they feel like is the tastiest, and we are left to create meals, to create some sort of diet out of what we were given when we were at that point in time not even seen as an actual person. Like slaves were property. So of course the idea of feeding us was give them enough to keep them strong enough to be able to just go work in the fields and operate. If they didn't have to give us that and we could just work with no food, we wouldn't have gotten that. So for a lot of us, when we eat things like chitlins, or like she said, cow tongue, chicken feet, frog legs, all kind of stuff that is just, you kind of like, well, who the fuck came up with eating this? It came from lack of options. For me, my family, and I'll share this with y'all, my family comes from the country, especially my dad's side of the family. So we literally grew up on farmland where there's horses, pigs, cows. I grew up seeing, when we come together for a family reunion, see those chickens over there running around? About an hour later, they hanging upside down, the blood draining. Auntie or somebody over there plucking the feathers out. pig was 1 minute over there. They got him sliced open, drained it out, cutting it clean. The meat was literally so fresh. The shit was just killed. I come from a family where they eat coon, possum, frog legs, anything that literally grew in the wild that we were comfortable enough with killing, turtle, all of that gets ate. Hog maws, chitlins, everything. And it was always prepared with a lot of seasonings, a lot of what we call love. Everybody gathered around and you ate. And this was our way of bonding based on, you know, whatever my grandparents and grandparents and the parents before them, whatever traditions were created. As I started to take my diet serious from watching the health of my elders, I realized the shit we were eating at these gatherings was killing us. On my dad's side of the family, and most people will deem a lot of things as just, you know, it's hereditary. Your daddy had it, so you're going to get it. But I realized a lot of what my dad, his dad had wrong with them, it came from sharing the same diet. For example, my family has a certain, I want to say it's a protein that is produced in, you know, our particular family, and it's based on diet, but it basically makes your kidneys act up. So for me, all of my life, my father, he's always been on dialysis. His kidneys have always been in a space where it's been a problem. He's had 2 kidney transplants. One, he got a kidney transplant. That kidney failed, had to get another one. Later on, found out my uncle, his brother, has the same sort of kidney problem based on this particular protein excessively being produced in their body. But they share the same diet, eating the same stuff, high in sodium, lots of meats, lots of foods that if you talk to a dietitian, it's not healthy. So for me, in order to not end up with the same shit they got, high blood pressure, kidney failure, diabetes, things being wrong with your body, I have to change the way that I eat drastically in order for me not to end up the way that they are. Anybody got any questions on this? Just understanding how to kind of get an idea of what I'm up against based on what's already been done. Because a lot of this shit...
I have a question.
Go for it.
Like, because you made a lot of valid points, so I want to know, and then, like, too, I have a child that has special needs, so, like, it's on certain stuff I can get her to eat. But anyway, like, the point is, once you've been giving your kids this food, especially her, like, how do you, like, take it away and, you know, get them to eat what they're supposed to?
Gotcha. So a lot of times for kids, especially special needs kids, you have to make it fun. It has to almost be like an activity to try new things. And it works. If you have children that aren't special needs and they're a little bit older, if you literally just start feeding them the knowledge behind what's going on, kids can understand the basics. Even what I explained about natural food and a canned good, they can clearly see the difference. That you don't got to know what it is, but it's something in that can that's making them green beans last way longer than real green beans that we can actually go find and grow. So with you with special needs or any of y'all with younger kids, you turn it into an activity. So for my kids, I started out doing simple stuff like we all gather around, I'll cook something different or introduce a new fruit or vegetable. And then I say, whoever eat the most, I give you $20 or I give you $10. So now it's kind of a race to see who can try. Whoever can tell me the most facts about this, I'll give them this or I'll buy you this. I turned it into almost a game. I started allowing them to be a part of preparing meals. So, for example, with my children, when I started eating different, my kids like spaghetti because that was one of the dishes that in our family you always seen them prepare. Anybody birthday, they going to cook a big pot of spaghetti. We going to have, you know, the family over and all of that stuff. So I made it an activity to teach my kids how to cook spaghetti to where it's good, where we have healthy versions of meat in it, where the noodles are made from zucchini or 100% vegetable noodles, where the sauce is made from tomatoes that we actually crush up from fresh tomatoes, not a canned good of sauce that has sat and can sit for almost a year without going bad. Like we made it into a thing. So if you turn it into an activity, kids like fun. You make some shit fun, they all for it. And a lot of times it started out, to be honest, Jessica, they didn't eat a whole lot of it at first. But as we did more and more and they played a role in cooking it, they wanted to try it because they made it.
Okay, yeah, because I have a 12-year-old and my 12-year-old,
it's embarrassing to say, but she's like, I'm heavy, but she's bigger than me. She's like 300 pounds. So like, I gotta do something like, to change her eating habits as well as mine. So
yep. Another thing too, with the way that you grocery shop, when you really make a decision, I don't want to be unhealthy anymore, you stop buying a lot of stuff and bringing it home. For me, my kids, none of them were ever overweight or anything like that, but we had bad eating habits. And I had to realize they able to eat it because, bitch, you buying it. It's in the kitchen. So instead of even having to fuss at them about not eating it, don't buy it. And start making it where, like I said, the foods turn into almost an activity. Like buying different vegetables. And then, you know what? Instead of snacks and shit, we going to buy a bunch of different dips. And we'll just try dipping the vegetables and just doing different things so they can explore eating things different.
So, like, you just cut it out completely, or you let them have it sometimes, or what?
The idea is to introduce new things while adding facts about reasons why you got rid of the old things. So, for example, like my kids were big French fry eaters because, when you are a young parent and you don't know too much more than what, you were generationally cursed with, like somebody said earlier, we be in the drive-thrus all the time. It was like a reward to go to the McDonald's drive-thru or the Wendy's drive-thru, get you a Happy Meal or a chicken nuggets meal or whatever. So I started doing things at home to where, let's make our own chicken nuggets. Let's get chicken, cut it up, let's bread it. This is how you slowly start to teach